why would a business person actually learn this stuff? So I'm going to come up with 4 ideas that I have. Then I'll throw it over to you to see if there's anything you want to add. Firstly, not necessarily getting good at it, but understanding some of the principles. And we're going to be talking about some of the principles later, is that it will tune up your general communication skills. People have been using hypnosis to influence for tens of thousands of years. And just clicking into some of the principles will help you tune up what you do. Secondly, and this may be even more beneficial, it helps us communicate with ourselves. My view is the more congruent we are with ourselves, it means that the more, what's the right word? The more effective we speak to anybody else. Because if we're clear what we want and we can articulate it, we simply become more congruent. And if we become more congruent, our messages become more powerful. The third reason is that some of the hypnosis stuff came from helping people change. So if we want to help people change, learning about this stuff helps us help others develop. And the fourth one I add for sort of a bit of fun almost. It's exciting. It's fun stuff to explore. Sometimes it's right to do all the factual things and all the logical things, but sometimes it's like to be totally creative and throw the cat out the basket, or whatever the right metaphor is, and explore the unexplorable. And hypnosis is a way of doing it. So, very simple terms. That's why I think it's worth anybody that has an interest in communication studies a bit of this. John, anything you want to add or say?
Yeah, when I first got interested in, I was interested in it from the first time I got interested in hypnosis. I don't know, I might have been 12 or 13 years old, and I had comic books and things like that, and in the back of some of these things were advertisements where, you could, it had, lightning bolts coming out of somebody's eyes and saying, you could hypnotize girls and things like that. And I thought, well, I don't know if I'd want to hypnotize the girls, but what else can I do with this hypnosis thing? But as I started to grow up a little bit, I took more and more of an interest in it because it had everything to do with my own mental state. I learned, one of the things I learned, even getting into NLP, of course, was that I learned I have choices, but I didn't know how to get to those choices or even how to make those choices in ways that I could make those choices for me and not for somebody else. So my first real good experience was with self-hypnosis because I had a couple of friends, and one of them said, "Oh, I do hypnosis," because I happened to bring it up. And I said, "You do?" He said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have some tapes if you want to try it out and try it out on yourself." And I thought, well, give me one of those tapes. And I did. And I remember, because I said to him, I said, what can I do with this when I listened to it? And he told me the following thing. He said, think about something you want to be able to accomplish, something you want to do. And I said, okay. And then keep that in your mind and then go and listen to the tape. And I thought, okay, no harm there. And I did. And the simplest thing that I wanted to do was that if I was going to go into this hypnotic state, this trance state, if that's what you want to call it, really, is I want to be able to come out of that trance state, even if the tape is finished. I want to be able to stay in that state. And I clocked myself before I went in. I said, I want to be able to come back out in about 13 and a half minutes, where I would wake up in 13 and a half minutes. And I thought, because if I could do that, I could program myself or hypnotize myself to wake up at a specific time every day if I really wanted to. I mean, my mind was already turning and spinning. And that's what I did. So I listened to the tape. These are all cassette now, man. This is talking Walkman and things. And that's what I did. And it was at a lunchtime. I went to some, an empty office, actually. Put myself, I listened to the tape. Boom. I don't remember if the tape stopped after it was finished. I wasn't not aware. And the crazy thing is, in most of the times when you're in hypnotic states, you're in a state of hyper awareness, except you're not really sure what you're aware of or not aware of. I mean, that's I guess to me, that was the tricky part. But I woke up. I woke up, my eyes opened up, and I said, oh, looked at my watch, and there it was, 13 and a half minutes later. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do that, just doing self-hypnosis, Gee, I wonder what else I can do. So creativity, go in and figure things out, relax, just relax. Michael brings up an excellent point. Sometimes during the day, things happen. You know that if you're in business, things out of your control happen. So now what? Because the state that you are in is going to determine how you behave. So if you're having a rough one, somebody just messed up a major deal for you. You're not going to say, "Oh, great, let's have a drink or let's go have a party about that." You're going to be all wired up, but that's not necessarily going to be good for you. So if you know enough about how to relax and go back inside, do a little bit of hypnosis on yourself, guess what? You can change your internal state. People don't realize we're really like neurochemical beings. We're an electrical system. We have chemical system. This is what we're made up of. So how can you get control over yourself before you can start to help other people to do the things that they ought to be doing too? To me, that encompasses it. And I guess some of the reasons I agree with you, Michael. I really I developed a real sincere and I guess serious interest in this mind control thing, because that's what it is. People say, "Is this about mind control?" I go, "Yeah, it is. It's about you controlling your mind